my biggest fear is that what little bit I know about AI, but knowing that having people say something they never said, having the image of a person doing something they never did, having a country declaring war that never happened, all these things, I mean, the stakes are so high in what we're doing, but if we can learn from our mistakes and put those guardrails in now, and you all would know better of how you intend your program to be used or your platform to be used, to tell us what should be there to protect, not just to protect your market, if you will, but protect basically the use of this and the intentions of what it's for. I think we need to do that and think about this deeply before we go further. Dr. Matheny?
Thanks, Senator Manchin. I think that the application of some of these large models to developing very capable cyber weapons, very capable biological weapons, disinformation campaigns at scale, pose grave risks. And I think one of the threats that I see is that the very technology that we develop in the United States for benign use can be stolen and misused by others. I think we need a licensing regime, a governance system of guardrails around the models that are being built, the amount of compute that's being used for those models, the trained models that in some cases are now being open sourced so that they can be misused by others. I think we need to prevent that. And I think we're going to need a regulatory approach that allows the government to say tools above a certain size with a certain level of capability can't be freely shared around the world, including to our competitors, and need to have certain guarantees of security before they're deployed.
I've been thinking about this, because we look in the internet was founded in, I think, 1983. Section 230 came into play in 1996, I believe. And we've been discussing that ever since. Should we have done more? Should we have how do we come back and put guardrails on it? Is it gone too far? Who's accountable? Who's responsible? On and on and on. Now that we're coming into the age of the AI, each one of you, give me your thoughts on this comes into the realm, if you will, and we're going to be so dependent on it and using it for so many purposes. What could we do, learning from what we didn't do when the internet came into play?
I think that the analogy to the internet is really apt. If we've learned anything in the past several decades of technology innovation, we see a focus on functionality first. In the case of the internet, sharing information. In the case of AI, solving a broad range of applications. And then we think about security. And I think we can't make that mistake again. Today, we spend hundreds of billions of dollars on cybersecurity, trying to shore up the problems that we had in the past that we didn't think about. We have an opportunity now to think about the security of these AI models as well. And there are two frontiers that I imagine we'll probably get into later in the discussion. But to preview, data poisoning is a huge problem. So the idea that the data you're using to train these models can be altered by a nefarious actor to create profound challenges with the AI algorithms. And the second is adversarial attacks. So you may have seen some of these sensational videos of putting a few dots on a stop sign, and to a self-driving car it looks like a green light. Or fingerprint readers with a couple of modifications spoofing authentication. These are real problems, and we need to think clearly about shoring up those security vulnerabilities in our AI algorithms before we deploy these broadly and have to clean the mess up afterwards.
Well, let me just say thanks to all of you. Would it be possible, I think on behalf of Senator Rounds and myself and our subcommittee here, to ask you all to, as quickly as possible, 30, 60 days, we put a little team together, give us some thoughts on what you think can be and should be done. We can share them with the committee members here to see if we can basically start looking at how we would write legislation not to repeat the mistakes of the past. If you could do that, we'd appreciate it. Senator Rounds?